Hello Gunners, welcome back to the Arsenal Bloodline. I'm Elts. Thank you for joining me. So this is a quick recap, a quick delve back into yesterday's action. Not too much, I don't want to focus too much on that. I said enough in my previous video. I do want to touch on a couple of things from Arsenal versus Man City, the 1-1 draw, and the disappointing lineup. Concerning Mikel Arteta, some things I didn't mention yesterday because I wasn't aware of until after I recorded. Where in the press conference, Mikel said nobody had a problem with my midfield against Bilbao. Bruh. You know, this weird arrogance from Mikel. Whenever he's pressed, even slightly, not even aggressively by the media, this narky response, this kind of sarky and arrogant response. You know, there's managers like the likes of, Carlo Ancelotti, who's won everything. He's won everything there is to win. He's won everything there is to win. He's won it multiple times. Doesn't give off that similar level of arrogance, ever. He's got every right to. He's got all the credentials in the world. Mikel Arteta's got no credentials, yet has this arrogance about him. Whenever he's pressed, even just a little bit, the reporter was right to ask him the question, can you tell us what was going through your mind with that starting midfield three? For a massive game against your rivals where, you're going to need to score some goals if you're going to beat your rivals. They're likely to get a goal, so you're going to probably need to score more than one. And the reaction of, well, no one questioned my midfield against Bilbao. Well, I did. And I certainly did against Liverpool, a game where you created nothing. Bilbao, where you created very little and was reliant on changing that midfield, by the way, and then bringing on two substitute players which won you the game in the last sort of 5-10 minutes. Bravo, Mikel. But you didn't win that game because of your midfield against Bilbao. And you came nowhere near winning the game against Man City, literally surrendering 45 minutes of the game. So this weird arrogance from him it's such a strange thing, and it's such a disappointing thing to be only 5 games in and to be having these kind of conversations about Mikel Arteta already after only 5 games, being 5 points behind Liverpool, probably going to be 8 points. We hope that the Eagles down in South London can do us a favour. We're already relying on teams to do us a favour after 5 games, and it's very probable that we'll go to St James Park again, as I said before, a ground that in recent years we haven't done very well at needing to have to win the game. Otherwise, finding ourselves, 7, potentially 8 points behind Liverpool at such an early stage in the season. And of course, people will say, well, it's so early. What are you worrying about? But these things matter, especially when you're in title races with phenomenal teams who haven't been at the races. Liverpool haven't been at the races this season, and yet they're winning their games. They're going to get better, The only sort of ray of hope I have about Liverpool is that they've got a tough run of games coming up. And we've got a run of games where I would think, and you would think that, we're probably going to get a few victories from. So that could be a bit of a turning point, hopefully, But one thing, and the last thing I'll say about Mikel is the handbrake. You've got to release it. You have to. You can't sign players like Eze and leave them on the bench, especially when it's crunch games at home. Because otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. Eze is a number 10. We all know that. Odegaard is also a number 10. Odegaard is injured. Surely the natural next step would be to play Eze in that position in Odegaard's absence. I understand if Odegaard is fit and raring to go, that you might start Eze on the left and have him drift inside. But if there's no Odegaard and you're not playing Eze, then you need to explain why you bought him. But anyway, bad news today about Noni Maduake. It was revealed today, came out earlier in the day, that he suffered a knee injury, which is why he came off. And it makes sense a little bit more now why Arteta took him off, because he was certainly our brightest spark in the game yesterday in that first half, in which otherwise was a very subdued first half from an attacking perspective. Disappointed for him, I really am, because he's been so good for us, without overcooking it. I think he's been good for us this season. Every time he's played, he's been purposeful and bright and energetic and aggressive in his play, and it was nice to see him in the team and really expressing himself, because it's a rarity to see players in our team under Arteta express themselves, and he was doing that, fearless, carefree, and that's what you want to see more of in the team. And it's a shame. By all accounts, it's not a severe amount of time. It's not a severe injury, and it's not a really lengthy period of time. But we're still waiting to know exactly how long he'll be out for. But it's a shame that he's out just period point blank. Saka comes back and then one goes out. And that just seems to be the way it is at Arsenal over the last few years, to be honest with you. It's a real shame. But the silver lining is that star boy Bukayo is back, and he looked very good against Man City. Certainly for the first sort of opening sort of 15, 20 minutes of that second half. It was really good to see him back in the team, and even more so now with that unfortunate news about Noni. Moving on to Wednesday's cup game in the third round, the Carabo Cup against Port Vale away. I'm looking forward to that. It feels like a bit of a nice, timely respite from the Premier League and all the stresses of the Premier League. Because quite frankly, guys, I don't know how you guys feel, but for me, sometimes with the Premier League, it just gets really stressful. It's not really enjoyable. You do find yourself moaning and being let down a lot because you know what can make the team tick. And a lot of people maybe see the manager as if they're like a level above. For understandable reasons, they're the manager. But us football fans, certainly if you're my age, you know, I'm getting on now, and I've been watching football for over 30 years, you know, you have a degree of knowledge. Maybe it might not be to Mikel Arteta's level, of course not. He played the game, and he's managing at the highest level. But I'm pretty confident that when everyone saw that team lineup yesterday, there would have been a collective, you know, like, oh, bruh. It certainly was for me when I saw the lineup. So this is like a timely respite, you know, the Carabo Cup, the other side of the squad that we haven't seen enough of, or haven't seen that much of so far this season. So it'd be good to see Kepa coming in, which I imagine he will. Looking at the right-hand side, you know, unless he picks up a niggle, surely Benny Blanco starts his second game of the season against Port Vale. I think Christian Mosquera comes back in. What was interesting about the Man City game is there was no Hincapie. I thought that was strange. He wasn't even on the bench. I don't know if he's picked up an injury or what, but that would be a real shame if he has, because it'd be nice to sort of see him alongside Mosquera, the two new boys, and just seeing how they would gel together. So it'd be nice if he does make it and he can play alongside Christian Mosquera, who we know has had a great start to his Arsenal career, and maybe could count himself a little bit unlucky that he didn't play against Man City. Miles Lewis-Skelly is another one. I went into this season fully under the belief that Miles Lewis-Skelly was a starter, and he hasn't started any game so far this season, which is understandable because Caliafiori has played well. But I want to see more of Miles, and it'd be good to get a glimpse of Miles, you know, getting a good run out, whether it's full 90 minutes or not. It'd be good to see him getting a full run out tomorrow. So I hope that he does start, and I'm pretty confident that he will. Into the midfield would be interesting because I assume that Norgard will play. Ethan Manieri, he has to play surely in the number 10 role. And then up front's quite interesting because who does he go as the number 9? Does he go with Trossard or does he go with Martinelli, which should be a good shout considering Martinelli's, you know, his two super sub, you know, appearances and his cameos have involved him making runs straight down the middle. There's been a lot of people advocating for him to play down the middle. There's been people that's been advocating for Martinelli to play as a striker since he came to the club. Sorry, excuse me. So maybe this is the time to maybe try and integrate that and try and make that work. I still don't know how far Kai Havertz or Gabriel Jesus are off of returning from injury, but it'll be nice in the meantime if we give Martinelli a go down the middle. You know, on the right hand side, will Max Dalman get a start? That's another interesting one as well. He scored a really good goal for the under-21s. Again, we say the under-21s like it's normal, but this is a 15-year-old absolutely donning up 21-year-olds, no problem. We know he can do it at the highest level. He came on against Liverpool at Anfield. He played against Leeds. So yeah, I suspect that maybe he'll get his opportunity to potentially start on Wednesday. Who knows? It's a good opportunity for Mikel Arteta to ring the changes, that's for sure. And then onwards to, and certainly upwards to Newcastle. Anyone that's been to Newcastle, which I have, it is certainly upwards for those away fans. Those stairs, Lord of mercy. But yeah, big game on Sunday against Newcastle. And that will be probably the most intriguing starting lineup of the season for me, because surely he doesn't go with that same midfield. I don't want to pick out Marino. My last video, I was regrettably I was picking out Marino a lot, and I didn't really mean to do that because it wasn't just him. The midfield as a trio doesn't work for me. It's not just about Mikel Marino. He's a decent player, but him alongside Declan Rice doesn't work. Mikel Arteta really doesn't have any excuse to continue with that midfield. Let's see some more flair. Let's see some more aggression and intent and ambition against Newcastle. But first, we got Port Vale on Wednesday. I'm looking forward to it. It'd be nice to see, like I said, the other side of the squad. Guys, let me know your thoughts. How do you feel about Noni Maduake? Such a shame. How do you feel about the Port Vale game? Score predictions, please. Let me know who you would start in the number 9. And how excited are you to see our new boy, Piero Hincapie? I know I certainly am, and I'm looking so forward to seeing Miles Lewis-Skelly start his first game. I assume start his first game of the season. Looking really forward to it. It's a nice little respite after all the hullabaloo of yesterday's disappointing 1-1 draw. But yeah, leave it in the comments, guys. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and share. And I'll catch you on the other side. Peace.